why we should care and why we should
go ahead.
do something about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the big protest called
Yep.
Ready?
Well, I think that, anybody living in Atlantic Canada has got to be concerned about the tar sands for a number of reasons. The first, of course, and most direct issue being that, First Nations communities living on the front line of tar sands expansion are experiencing irreparable harm to ecosystems that they depend on for their livelihood, through their hunting and fishing livelihood. And this hunting and fishing livelihood is constitutionally protected in Canada. So the government of Canada, the provincial government of Alberta, and the private sector operating in the bitumen bonanza in Cree, Dene, and Métis territory in northern Alberta are operating illegally. And I think that there is a moral imperative for everybody to take action because of that in the interest of justice and reconciliation of Canada's controversial colonial past, because that past is not in the past and has emerged the neo-colonial form of colonization in the form of Canada's energy policy and economic paradigm. And so, the other piece that, we need to be concerned about, the second piece in Atlantic Canada, of course, is our rapidly destabilizing climate being driven by, unsustainable development like the tar sands and the issue of rising sea levels. This impacts everyone on a global scale, fisherfolk included, and localized impacts related to climate weather events. Violent, unpredictable climate-related weather events are going to become the norm. So people, in Atlantic Canada need to think about that. Of course, here in the United States, the Keystone XL pipeline campaign has become the lightning rod of the U.S. environmental movement, and that is very much due to the frontline Indigenous communities and ranchers and landowners and environmental justice communities as far down as Port Arthur, Houston, Texas, that have risen up to fight against this project. It is the fuse to the carbon bomb known as the tar sands, but there are also half a dozen other fuses that are going to be lit if we allow them to be, including the Energy East pipeline, which of course is almost twice the size of the proposed Keystone XL pipeline, double the length, and will bring tar sands crude if we allow it to Atlantic Canada. And this is all part and parcel, and I think that this is the piece that all of us need to think about, especially our young people, that, this is bigger than tar sands. This is bigger than pipelines or tar sands extraction. This is fundamentally about our economic paradigm and the fact that the government of Canada has ratified a bilateral free trade agreement with China, the FIPA, and has also signed a bilateral free trade agreement with Europe. And these pipeline proposals are part of a larger neoliberal strategy to turn Canada into an export economy of raw resources to facilitate the neoliberal free market agenda. So educate yourself, become aware of the market forces that are driving the global climate crisis, and throw a wrench in the machine. If we don't stop business as usual and disrupt commerce, we're not going to be able to get the ears of these policymakers like the ones that are meeting here in New York City at the Ban Ki-moon Climate Free Summit. So we hope to, see you in the streets and out on the land in resistance over the next year, and most certainly during the UN Framework Convention in Paris next year when we WTO that shit.
Cool.
Can you tell me Cowboy Indian Alliance?